From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Islamophobic attacks erupt after Zohran Mamdani's NYC primary win. MAGA influencers target the Muslim candidate with hate and false claims. Details coming up later in the show, so stay tuned. President Donald Trump has called for the immediate dismissal of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial. Posting on Truth Social, Trump described the proceedings as a ridiculous witch hunt and praised Netanyahu as a heroic leader during Israel's war with Iran. Netanyahu is facing 3 separate corruption cases dating back to 2019 involving bribery and breach of trust. He denies all charges. Trump claimed that Netanyahu deserves a pardon and said, now it is going to be the United States of America that saves Bibi Netanyahu. The Israeli prime minister is also under scrutiny by the International Criminal Court, which issued an arrest warrant for his alleged war crimes in Gaza. This is for Israel's genocide in the region, which has killed over 64,000 Palestinians since October 2023, according to the British medical journal The Lancet. The UN says most of those killed were women, children, and the elderly. President Donald Trump has called for CNN to fire reporter Natasha Bertrand over her recent report on U.S. airstrikes on Iran aimed at destroying the country's nuclear capabilities. Her report cited U.S. intelligence assessments suggesting that last weekend's U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites only caused limited damage. Trump, however, insisted the facilities were totally demolished. He has accused Bertrand of trying to destroy our Patriot pilots and demanded she be fired immediately for what he called fake news. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed to Al Jazeera that the sites were badly damaged but not destroyed. At a NATO summit in The Hague on Wednesday, Trump repeated his claims and said the U.S. obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced that the FBI has launched an investigation into how the intel report was leaked to the public. CNN defended Bertrand, saying it stood 100% behind her reporting. Congressman Andre Carson says he will co-sponsor articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. The Democrat from Indianapolis initially voted to table the resolution, citing a lack of time to review it. But after examining the details, Carson announced his full support for the effort. He made the announcement on social media, saying he is now among the first lawmakers to back the impeachment push. The resolution targets Trump for launching military strikes on Iran without congressional approval last weekend, a move critics say is an abuse of power. The House voted Tuesday to shelve the resolution, with 344 lawmakers against it and 79 in support. It was introduced by Representative Al Green of Texas, causing debate with the Democratic Party. Analysts say Carson's move adds momentum to those pushing for stronger checks on presidential military powers. A wave of Islamophobic attacks have erupted from MAGA influencers after Zohran Mamdani's victory in New York City's Democratic mayoral primary. The 33-year-old, who could become NYC's first Muslim mayor, is facing racist smears targeting his faith and immigrant background. Mamdani, a Muslim born in Uganda to Indian origin parents, became a U.S. citizen in 2018. Right-wing figures like Donald Trump Jr. and Charlie Kirk falsely linked his win to the September 11, 2001 attacks and accused him of promoting anti-Western values. Police were already probing hate threats against Mamdani before the election. Mamdani has repeatedly denounced anti-Semitism and vowed to serve all New Yorkers. Still, MAGA Voices Online painted him as a radical due to his pro-Palestinian stance and socialist ideas. Analysts warned that Republicans may use his win to frame Democrats as extreme, while fueling dangerous narratives against Muslims and immigrants. 34 people were arrested inside the U.S. Senate office building during a dramatic protest against proposed Medicaid cuts. The demonstrators, including people in wheelchairs, staged a die-in at the Russell Senate office building rotunda. Many wore black shirts reading "Healthcare cuts will kill" and chanted "No cuts to Medicaid." Capitol Police said 33 were charged for protesting inside the building, which is a federal offense. One was arrested outside the police line. Protesters came from states including Florida, New York, and Virginia. Advocacy groups such as the Center for Popular Democracy, ADAPT, and the Debt Collective organized the demonstration. Parents of children with disabilities and healthcare workers warned that millions could lose vital care under President Donald Trump's proposed Big Beautiful Bill. Activist Analilia Mejia stressed how Medicaid covers nearly half of U.S. births and life-saving medication. Protesters say the cuts would devastate low-income families. Israel killed at least 100 Palestinians in Gaza, while many of them were seeking food aid. Israeli airstrikes and gunfire hit multiple areas across Gaza. In eastern Gaza City's Shuja'iyya neighborhood, 17 people, including 2 children, were killed. Israel gunned down 8 people while they were waiting for aid in Netzarim and did the same to 3 more Palestinians west of Rafah. Israeli airstrikes in western Gaza City killed 9, including 4 children. In the north, Israel's shelling killed a mother and 2 children. Rescue teams recovered bodies from rubble in Jabalia and Abbasan. In Deir al-Balah and the Nusayrat camp, 10 more died due to Israel's attacks. 6 were killed in a residential strike in southwestern Gaza City, and another missile in al-Shati refugee camp killed 5 children. Israel has killed more than 64,000 Palestinians since October 2023. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli leaders over alleged war crimes in Gaza. Israel also faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its war on the region. From boycott to global movement, the Boycat app is changing how millions shop. This and more coming up next. United Nations aid trucks crossed into Gaza through the Israeli-controlled Zikim border crossing on Wednesday. The trucks reportedly reached the warehouses in northern Gaza, delivering food supplies to help alleviate the territory's worsening humanitarian crisis. Since May 27th, Israel has launched a new aid initiative in Gaza through the so-called Gaza Relief Foundation, bypassing the UN. Many Palestinians see it as an effort to forcibly relocate people from northern to southern Gaza. Meanwhile, Israel has kept Gaza's main border crossing sealed since March 2nd, allowing only a limited number of trucks to enter. The region requires a minimum of 500 aid trucks per day to meet basic needs. A boycott tracker born from Palestine solidarity is now aiming for global economic change. Adel Abuthallah, founder of Boycat, launched the app to help users avoid brands complicit in Israeli genocide and oppression of Palestinians. But it has quickly evolved into a platform for ethical consumerism rooted in Islamic values. Speaking at Muslim Tech Fest in London this week, Abuthallah said Boycott now has 2.5 million users. It seeks to build a self-sustaining, ethical economy powered by Muslim communities, but open to all. The platform has already redirected $90 million from pro-Israel firms. Boycott faced shutdowns, threats, and buyout attempts by Israeli-linked entities. Abuthallah even lost his job due to his activism. However, despite hurdles, Boycat is expanding. Plans are underway for a global network of certified ethical businesses. Abuthallah says Muslims must lead on justice, sustainability, and global issues, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has condemned the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's violent arrest of Narciso Barranco, a Mexican national living in the U.S. for 31 years. A viral video shows U.S. immigration officers beating Barranco in Santa Ana, California, where he works as a gardener. Sheinbaum called the incident an injustice, saying migrants like Barranco are part of both nations even without citizenship. Barranco was the father of 3 U.S. Marines. Sheinbaum criticized ongoing raids under President Donald Trump's administration, saying they target people regardless of their roots in American society. She stressed that Mexico will defend its citizens and confirmed consular support for Barranco's family. The Sudanese army says it has regained control of major areas in the southeastern Blue Nile state. Military forces cleared Baldagu and nearby zones of fighters from the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, paramilitary group and the SPLM North rebel group. The SPLM North has fought the army since 2011, demanding self-rule in Blue Nile and South Kordofan. In a separate operation, the army said it destroyed a large RSF force in Dilling, South Kordofan's second biggest city. The military posted footage on Facebook showing soldiers and residents celebrating the victories. Neither RSF nor SPLM North have commented on the claims. The Sudanese army and RSF have been in a violent power struggle since April 2023. The civil war has killed thousands and triggered a massive humanitarian crisis, displacing millions. The army says it is committed to pushing back militias and restoring control over all regions. Some Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh are returning to Burma's Arakan state amid worsening conditions in overcrowded camps. The World Food Program cut monthly aid from $12.50 to just $6 per person in April, leaving many families unable to survive. Refugees are also banned from working outside the camps, deepening the crisis. A few families have begun returning to their native villages in northern Mamdani and Butidong townships, which are now controlled by the Arakan army. Some also cite threats and intimidation by Rohingya armed groups inside the camps. The International Crisis Group warns that these groups are recruiting youth to fight the Arakan army, potentially fueling conflict and delaying repatriation efforts. Bangladesh denies any militant activity in the camps. Exact returning numbers remain unclear. Most Rohingya fled Burma in 2017 after a brutal military crackdown, which some experts say was a genocide. That sent 700,000 Rohingya across the border, primarily to Bangladesh. Pakistan's government is facing sharp criticism for nominating President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, just as the U.S. bombed Iranian nuclear sites on Sunday. The nomination came after Trump brokered a ceasefire between India and Pakistan and then truce between Israel and Iran. But within a day, the same Pakistani government condemned his military strikes as a violation of international law. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif called Iran's president to express concern, while critics at home, including opposition lawmakers, diplomats, and civil society, slammed the move. Diplomat and Pakistan's former ambassador to the UN, Maliha Lodi, called it ill-conceived and urged its withdrawal. A senator has already filed a resolution to revoke it. Trump, who has long sought the prize, acknowledged on social media that he likely would not win it despite past nominations. Defending the nomination, Minister Musaddiq Malik credited Trump's role in easing India-Pakistan tensions in May and attempting diplomacy elsewhere. However, critics say the gesture reeks of flattery, not principle. A breakthrough from Washington University could help stop two major killers of healthy aging: vision loss and heart failure. Scientists have discovered that increasing a molecule called APOM may slow or prevent age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of blindness after 50. The same molecule may also protect against certain forms of heart failure. In lab mice and human samples, researchers found APOM helps eye and heart cells clear out harmful cholesterol, reducing inflammation and damage. People with vision and heart problems were found to have lower APOM levels. This molecule is part of the body's good cholesterol system, and boosting it may offer a new treatment strategy for both eye disease and heart issues linked to aging. Currently, advanced macular degeneration is irreversible, but with APOM, that may soon change. The study was published this week in Nature Communications. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bring you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.